Well, hello and welcome back to another one of my videos in another aspect ratio because 16:9 is boring. Normally for these monthly videos I have somewhat of a script, somewhat of an idea, the things I'm going to talk about. Not this month. You see, February is already a short month, go short kings and all of that love. But in that very short month, there's been a lot of uni work. And because of the amount of work I'm doing at the moment, I've not really been able to plan anything extensive. But however, I am going to talk about my photos, which if you haven't seen, I mean, like, what are you doing? They're all on my Instagram. Go check it. It's somewhere there. I post somewhat regularly, normal posts, and on my story, you know, every day with the photo I take every day. Hence the video now talking about the photos I take every day. But yeah, I thought I'd explain a little bit. You see, this whole idea started on a whim. I was out one day just taking photos on a nice little walk in actual sun, if you believe it, all the way back in January. Crazy. But it gave me the idea of carrying a camera on me every day, or trying to have a camera on me every day to take a nice photo that I've thought about every single day. Capturing little moments that come up, or nice bits of light, or anything interesting really. The only issue with most of that is it's winter. It's dark, it's cold, it's dreary. I don't want to leave the house most days, but this gives me that reason to go out. However, that doesn't stop it being overcast and dreary, so often the light's quite flat, but we try and get around that by, you know, cool subjects, cool compositions, maybe some slow shutter. If you have seen my photos, you know I'm quite a big fan of slow shutter, not necessarily shutter drags. Sometimes you're following people, get the background nice and blurry, keep them in focus, like in day 25. And sometimes I'm keeping the camera still and letting the subject get blurred, like in day 12. I haven't taken notes on any of my photos because I've been doing this as a passion project and something I enjoy and just for the fun of it. And I feel as soon as I start taking notes on something or making it super serious, it stops having that element of fun and becomes a chore. And nobody likes chores. So rather than do that, I've kept it fresh and not thought about it too much. Sometimes I'll ask some of my friends which one they think is better because I may have taken hundreds of photos that day. Take, for example, day 26, you know, that duck. I took 1,100 photos that day. Yeah, 1,000 photos of ducks. And also a bunch of other birds, but mostly ducks. And seeing as I haven't taken notes on anything, I thought it'd be better if I just talked about some of my favourite ones, showed them off if you haven't seen them, or explained my thought process on what was happening during some of them. We'll start near the beginning because day 1's alright, but day 2 is one of my favourites that I've taken throughout the whole thing. You see, I ended up waiting, 15 minutes for these birds to fly perfectly where I wanted them, and they still didn't go exactly where I wanted, but I was cold and wanted to move on. And they were good enough. You see, I wanted them more directly in between the buildings, you know, even space on either side, make it look neat. But nature is often not perfectly in the middle of things, and that's what happened with these pigeons. I still like it, and the colours I thought were quite cool. It was actually quite a nice day with the sun, so I think the light's nice, it complements the colours, and I think it's quite a unique perspective looking up. Normally when you're doing photos, taking some street photography, you're just looking forwards and down and at people. You never take that moment to look up and see what's happening above you. So I thought that was quite a cool perspective change. Day 5 is another one of my favourites, and you might start to notice a theme here of birds. Not that I'm a massive wildlife photographer or shooting on some 600mm lens getting, you know, eyeballs in focus, but I think having birds in your frame gives it an extra bit of context, you know, a little bit more movement, some life. If you're just shooting a still building, it's often a little bit boring, but having a bird flying over, suddenly there's a whole new story going on in there. And day 5 I think is a good example of that. It's not that interesting a composition, but with the birds flying in line with the telegraph poles, I thought it just looked really beautiful. And sticking with the theme, my next favourite, day 15. Once again, a bird. This one I like because it's very minimalist. You have maybe a third of the frame taken up by building and 2/3 empty sky with a single bird in it. And the bird is also then reflected in the building. I thought that was a very beautiful little scene. Captured that one directly over my head, leaning all the way back. Not very ergonomic, but good result, I think. Day 17 was another one of my favorites, not just because of the bird. This one was mostly because of the colors. I'm a very big fan of James Popsis. If you don't know, I've talked about him in all of my work going back before GCSEs, and he's been a massive inspiration to me in colors and the way he thinks about things and his intentionality. I love him. And this one really screamed those colors to me. Not so much his style of photography, but the colors I thought were very much him. The slightly, like, not overexposed, but as bright as you can be without being overexposed, and the orange is beautiful, and then there's the bird to top it off, giving it that extra bit of life. Juxtaposition between man making new buildings and nature thriving throughout it, if you want some artsy, over-the-top explanation. I'm going to give day 35 my most experimental one. You see, this was a 1-second exposure, handheld, following traffic that was not moving that quickly. On top of that, I wanted to add a little flick in to get the headlights giving an extra line, but sort of messed it up and ended up with entire ghost cars. But I think that looks awesome. I ended up taking 20 or 30 different versions of this photo, tracking different cars, different exposure lengths. None of them looked anywhere near as cool as this one did, and I was very proud of it in the end. Even with what other people might call flaws, I took as new life. And that sort of brings us up to today. The last 2 days haven't been the most experimental, the most beautiful. They're not bad photos, but they're nothing crazy, and I don't think they're like massively worth talking about. But I think it's worth saying that I will be carrying this project on for as long as I can. I have no intentions of stopping this, and I think it's a wonderful way of giving my mind something to do and getting me out of the house and just generally being all around good for every part of me. If there's specific types of shots you want me to do, or challenges, or whatever you can think, leave a comment down below, and also, you know, hit the like and subscribe button, all that YouTuber shenanigans. I'm going to continue taking these photos every day and continue sharing them with you guys, and thank you for the support you've given me so far. Yes, thank you, Mum. I see your likes every single day, don't worry. Thank you for watching this one. I know it probably wasn't like the most interesting, you know, I haven't done much cool editing in a while. I haven't really had time for those big over-the-top videos with uni, but uni is finishing soon-ish, I think. I'm not really sure, but when it is, and I'm stuck in Wales again, there will be plenty of time for over-the-top shenanigans, filming and editing, and spending far too long on shots that seem far too simple for how long they take. And with my yapping finished, I just want to thank you guys, those of you who stay to the end of every video, those who leave likes and comments. I love you all, and I will see you in the next one.